Now, speaking of Cowboy quarterbacks, watching Joe Milton try to play quarterback the other night against the Rams, I couldn't help thinking, I sure hope Dak stays healthy all season. Joe Milton is the flip side of Shedeur. Joe Milton is a huge young man with a huge arm, but a young man who just struggles to play the hardest position in all of sports. He just doesn't have Shedeur's feel for playing quarterback, Shedeur's command, Shedeur's poise, Shedeur's consistent, deadly accuracy. I mean, watching Shedeur play quarterback just makes me comfortable. Watching Joe Milton makes me nervous. But I guess Joe Milton III is going to be the Cowboys' backup quarterback. Of course, we got spoiled by having the NFL's best backup quarterback in Cooper Rush for those many years. The Ravens made a shrewd move, giving Cooper Rush $12.2 million. That's a bargain. That's a steal for 2 years, about $6 million a year. That, once again, is why the Ravens have the NFL's best roster and why they're co-favorites with the Bills and the Eagles to win it all. The Cowboys should have at least given Cooper Rush, $14 million for 2 years. But that's right. They couldn't do that because Jerry made Dak the highest paid player in the NFL, and he'll probably make Micah the highest paid defensive player ever. And by the way, the Cowboys last year had a quarterback I have always loved in Trey Lance. Now Jim Harbaugh has him. I've watched him twice. He's played very well twice. First with his arm, then Sunday with his legs. He was pretty spectacular. He carried it 7 times for 48 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's preseason outing. Watch Jim Harbaugh turn Trey Lance into his next Colin Kaepernick. Just watch. Cowboys had him for only a 4th-round pick. Cowboys dumped him. Jim Harbaugh stole him. So the Cowboys gave a 5th-rounder for Joe Milton. And by the way, the Patriots also gave the Cowboys a 7th-rounder in that deal. Now, I know Joe Milton had a good game against Buffalo, final regular season game last season, but the Bills played nobody because they'd already clinched the 2 seed. And by the way, the Patriots played next to nobody because they needed to lose the game, but Joe Milton went 22 of 29 for 241 yards, and the Patriots accidentally won the game, and they lost the number 1 pick. So, yeah, the Patriots rested a bunch of starters too, but they managed to blow being able to draft Travis Hunter. Gerard Mayo was fired after that game. So if the Patriots had thought that much of Joe Milton, that they wouldn't have given him away to the Cowboys, and they wouldn't have signed Josh Dobbs to be their backup. Joe Milton looked really hit and miss shaky the other night. And by the way, I've always also liked Will Grier. I loved him when he was at West Virginia. Did he ever throw parties on the Big 12? He looked pretty good late in the game on Saturday night at Rams. But the Cowboys have never seen him as any more than a number 3. So, again, you're right. He was playing with 3rd stringers against 3rd stringers, and he looked pretty good. Late in Saturday night's game, looked way better than Joe Milton for what that's worth. Maybe the Cowboys will keep all 3. But Joe Milton's scary debut for the Cowboys sent my mind careening back to the most shocking draft development ever. Not even close, ever. Shedeur Sanders falling all the way to the 5th round. Jerry Jones once had a picture in his office up on the wall of two buzzards sitting on a limb. One buzzard says to the other, "To hell with patience, let's kill something." Buzzards obviously usually wait for the scraps. So what if, let's say in the 4th round of this last draft, what if Jerry had finally said to hell with it, forget all the knocks on Shedeur. He was going to take this young man who grew up in the Dallas area playing for a father in Dion Jerry loves. What if Jerry had done that in the 4th round? Can you imagine Shedeur Sanders backing up and learning from Dak this season and replacing him next year, or at least the following year, 2 years from now? Whew, happy days would be here again. But then I remembered that the Cowboys had traded their 4th round pick in last year's draft for a former 2nd round pick in Jonathan Mingo, who, by the way, in his final season at Ole Miss, set the school record for receiving yards in a game with 247 against my alma mater, Vanderbilt, the perennial SEC doormat. So I wonder why Carolina was so anxious to get rid of Mingo. 8 games last year. Played 8 games for the Dallas Cowboys. In those 8, Mingo caught 5 of 16 targets for a grand total of 46 yards and 0 touchdowns. That 4th round pick could have been Shedeur. That's my Jerry.